Alrighty. All right. So good morning, ladies. Welcome back to Tuesday Talks with Teena, a weekly intentional fitness focused self-care where we take inventory every week on our current habits, and then we work on consistent routines. So in that way we can reach our goals, and we're doing all of this during our lunch break. All right. So we are on week 20. We have 6 more weeks left. It is flying by. So you're going to go into some housekeeping. I am your host, Teena Cathay. I'm a business owner, certified trainer in health guard, and I am an advocate for women finding balance. So a disclaimer, I am certified, but I also suggest that you consult with your medical professional. So then that way, if you're starting any new routine, advise with them to make sure that things are good before you start. So then that way you are safe and not going to hinder anything if you're on any medications, etc. Our funding disclaimer. Funding for this initiative is provided in part by Mission Ambition LLC and Teena Cathay Lifestyle LLC. Also, we have many military women participating in this series, thanks to the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Through the Community Mental Health Association of Michigan. They're providing additional funding for this initiative through a federal community mental health block grant and substance abuse prevention and treatment block grant supporting Women Veteran Strong. Couple of guidelines, please, no selling, no soliciting, and if you're providing advice in the group, make sure that you are being non-judgmental as you do so. That's for yourself and for others. And this is designed also for you to have Q&A. So if you have questions, feel free to either raise your hand or unmute yourself and ask questions and get clarification if you need clarification for anything at all. So let's get into it. We have last week's talk. We did nutrition mythbusters. It was a little silly one. We took some stock on nutrition myths, talked about the things that we've heard, and also looked into them, whether they were a fact or a myth or not. We learned some facts from reputable sources, some that we might have thought that were actually myths, but they're actually truths. And then we also talked about how to get closer to our goals, whether what we've been doing is currently working or there's some new things that we want to adopt, and also kind of gave ourselves grace and gratitude for getting as far as we've gotten with the changes that we made. So let's go into our first discussion for today. We're going to discuss the trending fad diets. So every single year, there's like a list of diets that usually comes out like in January or probably end of December. So like that whole New Year thing, people want to try new diets and they kind of project which ones are going to be trending, which ones people are going to try. So these are the ones, one of the top ones that I decided that we're going to discuss and talk about today, because we're living a mostly sedentary lifestyle. It's vastly different than what our ancestors lived. They moved around a lot more. We're more sedentary only because of the way a lot of these jobs are for us today. We're not necessarily hunter-gatherers anymore. We can just go to the grocery store and get all our stuff. So with that being said, obesity is high for us. According to the CDC, 4 out of 10 Americans are affected by obesity. And then obesity prevalence is at 41.9%. That was back in 2017. And it's projected closer to 2030 that probably, if not half, but right at the cusp of half of Americans are going to be obese. So here are the fad diets that we're going to be talking about. So we're going to start off with intermittent fasting, or IF for short. So this one is one that I've tried and I actually like. There's people do these for various reasons, but intermittent fasting is limiting food consumption to a certain time frame and then you're going to cycle between fasting and eating. So for example, you might stop eating at 8 p.m. and then not eat again until 11 a.m. the next day. There's different methods and different ways you can do this. You can make up your own method, but there's the 16-8 method. It's also called the Lean Gains Protocol. It involves skipping breakfast and restricting your daily eating period to only 8 hours. So you'll have an 8-hour eating window. So from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. is your eating window. That's very aggressive, in my opinion. And then you will fast for 16 hours in between. So that, again, is an aggressive one. Then there's eat, stop, eat. This involves fasting for 24 hours, once or twice a week. So for example, by not eating from dinner one day until dinner the next day. That one seems a little bit more doable. It'll be a good way to get more water intake in or whatnot. Or if you ate super heavy one day and you need to get more whole foods and nutritious meals in, or you need to kind of like give your digestive system a break, that would be one to try. And then there's also the 5-2 diet. So with this method, you consume only 500 to 600 calories on 2 consecutive days of the week, but eat normally the other 5 days. Now, I do have a disclaimer. I'm not saying try intermittent fasting, especially if you're on medication, because a lot of times medication, it needs to be paired with food, and fasting might disrupt anything that you have going on. So if you do want to try intermittent fasting, I will highly suggest that you consult with your primary care physician prior to, but it is a good way to kind of slow yourself down if you are finding yourself overeating throughout the day, or you're getting too much unhealthy things throughout the day. Does anyone have any questions about the intermittent fasting? Or has anyone tried it?
Yeah, I probably do that more than any other thing. Um, I usually don't eat anything solid until after I've had a bowel movement. So I will typically, well, see, I'm retired, so I stay up late and I get up late. So, my eating patterns have fluctuated, but my nutritionist slash my chiropractor, which is where I'm at right now, he's the one that recommended the intermittent fasting to try it. And so yeah, my husband, like, he wigs out because he's like, I don't know how you can go long without eating. I go, well, I'm not a foodie like you. Like, I don't live and breathe for my next meal. And anyways,
So we have also the keto diet. This one is hugely popular. I hear a lot of people trying this, especially those who want to do fast weight loss. This one is a low carb, high fat diet. It's designed for those. It was originally designed for those to help improve brain health and promote longevity. So it wasn't necessarily a diet for the general public, but this one is very interesting. So basically, the keto diet is you're having your body tap into your fat stores. So usually when we go to burn anything, we're burning our carbohydrates. But doing the ketogenic diet involves consuming very low amounts of carbs and replacing them with higher fat contents. And this is to help your body burn fat for energy versus the carbs. Hence, you're going to burn fat for that weight loss, because that's what most people want to do. They're not necessarily worried about the weight loss part. You want to burn fat to get that body fat percent down. So this takes your body into what's called ketosis. So ketosis describes a state in which your body is using ketones instead of carbs, those fats, as its primary fuel source. Now this, when you start out, it's, in my opinion, harder to get over the hump than intermittent fasting. Because intermittent fasting, if you stop eating at 8, start at 11, that's not that bad. You can kind of wait those hours out by drinking water, and it could be flavored water as well. But then with keto diet, that high fat, low carb is what your body is using for fuel most and usually all of the time. So if you take that out of the equation, you might start to get headaches because your body uses the carbs. That's the main source for your brain. So it can be very taxing and challenging on the body. At first, I have heard good things about it, and I also have heard bad things about it. There's people who love it, live by it after they get over that hump of having those headaches, those hunger pains, because your body has to have time to adjust. Let's see. The last one that we're going to go into is DASH diet. So this one is kind of, I think this just has people always put names to certain things, but this is just kind of an eating plan that requires no special foods, and it provides daily and weekly nutritional goals, which is closer aligned to what like my beliefs and what I think is like, you don't have to have a specific diet, just kind of be more mindful of what you're eating. And this is what the DASH diet does. So this plan recommends eating vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. Thumbs up on that. Including fat-free or low-fat dairy products, fish, poultry, beans, nuts, and vegetables. So it includes those things, so it's not excluding anything. But it wants you to limit foods that are high in saturated fat, such as fatty meats, full-fat dairy products, and tropical oils, such as coconut, palm kernel, and palm oils, and then limit sugar, sweets, beverages, and things like that. So that doesn't sound too bad. That just sounds like moderation to me. So I think this one it's a fad diet, which is funny, but I guess it just has a name and a term, so then people pick it up. But it's just, to me, that just sounds like eating in moderation and being mindful about what you're eating, which is something we talk about literally every week. I didn't do the breakdowns, but there's also like a blood type diet. There's a Wiccan diet. There's a flexitarian diet. There are, I think I said Mediterranean diet. There's so many types of diets. It's funny, but not funny.
Yeah, there are tons of them, because when I tried this and this and this and that and that and this is good for you, I'm going to do this instead. The DASH diet thing, since I've put on that on my phone, the app for the MyFitnessPal, basically what you're doing there. I mean, you're monitoring, you're seeing what you have for your intake and your macros, and I have found it now. I had this thing, we've done it for a whole month, Laura. It's like I've checked in for a month. I said, okay, so I am seeing finally some changes. So this is good. And I'm able to be aware of, yes, the carbs, the fats, how much protein and things like that. And it's on a daily basis. It's been a game changer in many ways for me. So, and that was very, very helpful to have. So.
All right, Miss Laura, that's MyFitnessPal now.
Yes, that was MyFitnessPal. It's for Apple, and it also got it for Android, and you can also do it just on your computer itself and get more information there instead of the little phone to look at. You can even plug in on the computer one what your intake is for the day, because they have a diet. They tell you forgot to do this, and you forgot to put in for your breakfast or your lunch or your whatever. And it's been very, very helpful there. But it's MyFitnessPal. I did there is the free one that was talked about by Teena, but I did pay for the premium, which is like $80 for the year. I mean,
Oh, that's not bad.
no, it's not even 10 for the month, right? So it's like, if it's going to help me and make me aware of what I'm eating or not, I think it's also worth it so much. So yeah, MyFitnessPal. So
okay, thank you. I'm gonna put it right back on my phone.
Yes, thanks, Laura. I'm glad that it's working out for you, because I know that was your concern, is like you want to know how much you got coming in. So I love that it's working for you, and you're seeing those results. It does take time, and I'm glad you were patient.
And yes, I am too. And I'm only going to the scale like once a week. I was like, okay, you don't need this every day, because yes, it fluctuates through the day because eating or not eating. And
yeah,
but it's also, I love how they will break down on the food, what is the protein, what is your sugars in there, your carbs, okay, and the higher fats, and they'll even give you the vitamin content, C and D and A. They'll tell you what's in each particular food content. So you're taking your general knowledge and you're just deepening it in, getting more in-depth stuff with it. So I've enjoyed it immensely. So very helpful.
Yay.
Yep. Thank you.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Awesome. Good stuff. So I got our first journal prompt up. So we're going to get into that. Which fad diets have you done in the past and why? So just think back if you've done any. If you haven't, just list the craziest ones that you've heard or you know of someone who tried any. And then we'll come back in a few minutes and talk about that. I'm interested to hear if you guys heard of any crazy diets. All right, who would like to share any fad diets that you've tried, some crazy ones that you've heard, or if you know someone who's tried these things?
I got a funny one. I've never tried a fad diet of any sort, really. I would say when people tell me they're on this or this or that, I says, well, I'm on the seafood diet. You see it, you eat it. That's it's like, of course, there was negativity to it as well, but it was a laughter thing. That got out of people. I got CEE, not CEA, but it was funny. So my brothers were. I still have this thing where my brothers could eat anything and anything, and why couldn't I eat that? Or you have 3 dinners, portions, in your meal, and it's like, you can't have this, Laura. You're not that age anymore. But you just can't do that. And it caught up with my brothers as well, but still. And I did have to follow a diabetic diet when I was pregnant with my, like 30 years ago with my son. And that was a challenge, and maybe look at things. And I always had known I didn't like your diet pops of any sort with the chemicals that they put in to make it, quote, no calories and such. The only one I would drink would be the Diet Vernors. I could tolerate that one. I like that one. But I've also said that, give me water before you give me a diet drink. And one thing I just have now, I don't know, probably 5 years now, I've just kind of eliminated on a daily basis the pop intake. And that has made a huge difference. And so no real trends, my own path. So.
Good. That's not a bad way to go. Figure out what works for you. If it works, cool. If it doesn't, then switch it up.
Exactly.
Anybody else have any?
While I fasted more than I wanted to say that it was healthy, I've only lost serious weight on it, doing it that way 10 plus years ago. And that was dealing with stress. I wasn't eating at all. I don't eat really now. but I tend to snack a little bit more. But I do make sure I don't put too much junk food in here. And when I eat my little pork rinds or the chili Fritos,
Mhm.
uh, I just make sure I get the snack packs that you can eat in one setting, or break it up into two meals, or two separate snacks versus buying a big old bag and bringing it in the house.
Are those
So
the pork rinds that like the skin, the little chips? Oh
real,
my
real
gosh, my grandma used to eat those. We
yeah.
used to eat those all the time. My favorite was the barbecue.
I don't do the barbecue, but I like the hot ones, and the cracklings
Those
are even my killers.
we would mix them. So we would get the spicy hot ones and the barbecue. We would do half and half and mix them. Oh my gosh, that's so nostalgic. I never heard of anyone else that ate those.
Yeah.
Christina, you had a comment?
Yeah, I was gonna say no, I never followed any diet, and the only one I've heard of is the Mediterranean. Nobody's tried it. And I think I'm more of a dash one because lately I haven't been eating in the morning, but I make sure if I don't eat all the way till like maybe 3 or 4, and then I don't eat anymore. And with the serving size, I just weighed myself this morning. I don't lost 3 pounds, and I didn't even know that I lost weight.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So I'm doing something right.
You guys are all crushing it. Look at these. And these are little changes. Like you guys are just making little tweaks and just being consistent. I love it. You guys are so awesome.
Thank you for that encouragement. It is feeling good.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You are welcome. So now we're gonna go into, I lost my slide for myself. So we're gonna go into part 2 of our lesson, how yo-yo dieting affects your health. So I'm sure we all heard of yo-yo dieting and know someone who's gone on a diet, off a diet, on and off. So this can be very harmful to you physically and also mentally. So it creates high food restrictions, which is not good. High calorie deficits, which is also not good for the body. And then you have a lot of up and down changes that your body's going to go through, and then you'll just go through mentally, and that's very taxing. So when you cut your calories, your body utilizes fat reserves and muscle mass for fuel. So your muscle burns more calories than fat. So when you have less muscle, your metabolism decreases, requiring less calories to maintain your current weight. So then if you start eating more calories after losing that muscle, your body will most likely regain it as fat more easily than muscle. So it essentially, it's just going to make it harder for you to gain muscle, and then actually fat will be probably the first thing that you gain back, or it'll be easier for you to gain it back. So then over time, that yo-yo diet is going to change your body composition. And then with the higher body fat percent, sustaining weight loss is going to be more difficult. So you're stressing your body out, you're chasing your fat cells, and it can be reversed, but it's going to be that much harder for you to lose weight because of those fat stores are just going to fill up first. So what does this do to you physically? So like I just stated, it creates more fat stores. It makes it harder for you to gain muscle if you keep doing all those restrictions. So it can cause a fatty liver, which I think that Sue mentioned that last week, I believe. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she mentioned that.
Yeah,
Which
she mentioned that.
Yeah, she did. And it's not anything bad. It can be worked on reverse. It's not uncommon for that to happen to people, but I don't know what caused hers, but for yo-yo dieting, that's what happens with people. A lot of people who yo-yo diet go on and off, restrict high calories, low calories, and binge eat. It's very stressful on your body. And then it's the same thing if you overeat in one sitting. I know I've heard of someone who would only eat one meal a day, but it would be like 1,100 calorie meal in one sitting. but that's very stressful on your body because you have to remember that what you put in your body also has to work to break it down. So if you're putting in all those calories at one time, and it might not be like whole foods or anything that's high in green leafy plants and whatnot, your body is going to work extra hard to try to break it down, pull the nutrients from it, and also burn it off. It can also promote diabetes and heart disease. Again, there's that tax on the body, disrupt your insulin, and things like that. And then also, we can't forget about the mental aspect of it. If you're someone who's constantly off and on a diet and trying to lose weight, maybe the diet was so restrictive, you lose the weight, but then you're like, this is something I cannot keep up because it's not a lifestyle. That's what diets are. It's not something sustainable. Then you get off the diet, and as soon as you get off the diet, you gain that weight plus 25 more pounds. And that's very stressful. It's very frustrating. It can kill your confidence and whatnot. So that's how that hinders that mental aspect of it. So there's that for that one. Did anyone have questions on yo-yo dieting? Has anyone did that before? Or know anyone who's done that? That's actually part of our next question, actually. I believe so. It is. All right. Would anyone like to share?
I wrote my first time I went down to a size 8. I thought I looked good. However, somebody, a very thin person at work, told me that I looked sick. But I felt well and didn't have any health issues. But I like my size. I like to be in a size 8. 16s, thank you, but no thank you. Somebody else could keep it. But
People are so rude, man.
yeah,
And how you view yourself. Who cares? Damn what anyone else has to say.
right.
To our third and final journal prompt. Something that we all know. You guys are all on this lane already. How to not fall for the quick fix diet trap. So, of course, being patient. We all know that weight loss is not going to happen overnight. We talked about this earlier. Trial and error is definitely going to be the thing because it just happens. You have to figure out what works, what doesn't work, and then season can change. And then what was working might not work during that season. It just happens that way. You can't expect the weight to fall off in 24 hours. We didn't gain it in 24 hours. It probably gained it over years. So therefore, that patience is going to be absolutely top-notch key. Eating mindfully, which you all are already doing, which is awesome. You're being more mindful about the treats that you like, and you're still eating those, but you're mindful of your portions. So that's something you keep doing. Slow down while you're eating. Don't try to shove it all in within 5 minutes. If you're rushing, trying to move around, try to slow down and eat when you can, because then that also can affect your digestion. If you're eating too fast, your food is not being chewed small enough, and then your body has to work harder to break down those huge chunks of food. Stop before you get full. Try not to get to that point to where you're just like, oh, I need to unbutton my pants. I can't move. I'm too tired. Try to get to that point to where you're satiated, but you're not hungry still. And then being mindful of not eating our emotions. That can happen. I've done it before. Or stop eating because of your emotions or feelings or stress or what's going on. It is hard to do that, especially if you're someone who's like, I don't eat when I'm stressed or dealing with something, because I'm that kind of person and I like food. So for me to stop eating is a huge deal. But still try to make yourself eat something, even if it's something small and light. If you are having issues with hormones or you need to get blood work done, consult and still go back and forth with your PCP. Advocate for yourself. If you are going really hard at your weight loss or muscle gain, whatever your goal is, and it's just not working, you know you're doing everything right. You're being mindful. You're lowering your portions. You're exercising. Just talk to your doctor. Maybe they might need to do a blood draw and see what's going on. Maybe it could be your hormones that are imbalance or whatnot. So if you're doing everything right, consult with your doctor. And then also document. This one is taken for granted. If you need to use old school pen and paper, do that. Do the notes in your phone. Laura mentioned earlier, MyFitnessPal. That's a good way to document your food. Put that food in there. You can also scan if you have that premium version of it. And then also just taking a picture of what you eat. Just simply right before you eat, take a picture so that we can actually see what it looks like, because we can eat something and then forget that it might have been too much on our plate. But if you have that picture is not going to lie. So if you need to slow yourself down, maybe take a picture. And just give yourself grace. Every day is not going to be perfect. There's going to be days to where it's getting warmer. We're going to be doing cookouts, more family outings, hanging out with friends more, and that's absolutely okay. The goal is to make it a lifestyle. The goal is to make sure that you're able to enjoy all those things with the people that you love and care about, and enjoy the foods that make you feel good, but just not going overboard with it, right? So our last journal prompt, moving forward, what will your strategy be to reach your fitness goals? So if you're doing what you're doing and it's working for you, just say that's going to be your strategy. But if there's something that you want to add to that, you kind of want to stack on top of what you're already doing to take it to another level, write that down. If you're doing something that's not working and you want to change it, what are you going to try? So let's take a few minutes and jot that down, and then we'll briefly talk about it before we close out for the day. All right. Who would like to share?
I wrote, make sure I move daily, drink plenty of water. I cleaned out my refrigerator last week. I just got to wipe it down today. And then I am going to be restocking with more fruits and vegetables and a little bit of protein.
Love it. And a clean fridge feels so good, doesn't it? Like,
It does.
I need to do that with mine. Yes, Christina.
Okay, I was gonna say what I'm currently doing, but I'm gonna try and get on that My Fitness Pal to track it.
Yeah, I think you'll love it. It's super simple too. And Laura, I just got my reminder. You haven't logged your lunch for the day.
Hell, I gotta get breakfast in. I think I'm doing, what is that diet? That's the oh wait a minute, intermittent fasting I'm doing. I've had coffee with cream, but I'm sure it's there for me.
Right.
And lunch. Because I'm gonna go ahead and continue with my comments for today's this prompt. I'm gonna continue with the MyFitnessPal, which has been very helpful in so many ways. I can even say that, okay, well, I only have these many calories. I'm gonna have some ice cream today. I was just like, okay, I'm having this, and that's
Yay.
great. I wanted it. It's like I can fit it in, and I'm not so bad. I also think I have it less calories than I should, but I don't know. There are days I go, wow, there's need more. I am going over protein and sometimes, but it's worked. That's the thing that's worked. So I'm going to continue it. I think that I need to go move beyond my 3 days a week of pickleball, which I'm not stopping. However, it is the fact that on other days, I'm spending more time doing things on my computer that needs to be done, or reading things, and I'm not going out to do any kind of activity, such as even walking or going out to ride my bike on the stationary thing outside, which now I could do out there. It got better. And even to just do simple exercises in the house, and I know that's where you started with things like that. So, but it's doing them, and I've not beyond that pickleball session on a regular basis. So that's the things I need to do.
Good. I like that you guys are winning. You figure out what you want to do, and you're going to add some stuff. Good deal. Good deal.
Come next month, we're gonna be slimming down like Laura.
Right?
Keep it going, dear. Keep it going.
Laura slimming down. Christina lost 3 pounds. Carmencita is getting her routine together. Baby steps, baby steps. You guys are really crushing it. I love it. So let me give you guys your word of the week. You guys did a great job today. I love hearing all these wins. Keep doing what you're doing if it's working. And like I stated earlier, if you want to switch it up and make those little tweaks, then do that as well. So our word of the week today is trusting. So it means showing or tending to have a belief in a person's honesty or sincerity, not suspicious. So there's trust in someone else, but I'm saying this, trust in yourself. So trust that you are heading in the right direction, that you're doing the right thing to build that confidence in yourself, and that you do know what you know. So don't discount yourself. You have the tools, you have the knowledge, just create those routines and just be consistent. And it's not going to be perfect, but so far you guys are doing a great job, and keep it up. Challenge of the week is educate someone else about a fad diet you learned about this week. Or if you see someone falling down that fad diet yo-yo back and forth, mental, physical snowball, feel free to nudge them. Let them know, like, hey, there's some dangers in what you're doing. Maybe try this. Maybe introduce them to what you're doing, and then see if it works for them. And then next week, we're going to talk about reading nutrition labels. We briefly talk about how to read those. We know about the serving. We talked about the portions and serving size, the difference in that. But we're going to go into like the breakdown of actually how to read it and what are the most important things to look for generally as you're grocery shopping for the nutrition labels. All right, ladies, awesome job today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you guys next week, 11:15 a.m. Invite someone else to come with you, another sister friend, and that way she can learn some great skills and have all these good success stories like you all are. Other than that, I will see you guys next week.